and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
Much better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, it was a wet and wild Saturday night, that's for sure. And we hope that everybody else out there that traveled to Subaru Park was able to get at least somewhat thawed out from that chilly, cold weather. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and I hope you didn't cross that bridge just after getting off 95 onto 322.
And we will talk about that
Yes,
for
we will.
sure. Uh, but today's show, we're going to discuss a little bit about the Rain Fest on Saturday night, again with the Union and Seattle. And then we're going to dive into also talking about the first leg against Pachuca and also look ahead to another busy week for the Union. That seems to
Mhm.
be a common theme at this point in the season early on. So,
And I have merch updates.
absolutely. So, before we get started, what are you wearing today?
Well, I thought in honor of Jose Martinez having a heck of a game against Pachuca in the first leg, I would wear my Jose Martinez bootleg MLS t-shirt. And so I don't see it, but yes, you can take my word for it. It is a great shirt of Jose Martinez and highly recommend.
Absolutely, and I'm wearing the Live Breathe football t-shirt that Jillian had got me for Christmas. I haven't worn this in a while, so I thought I'd bust
Mhm.
it out for this show.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, and I'm also, I forgot to mention, I'm wearing one of the headbands that I got recently, this one that you got for me.
yes, I got that on Facebook at one of the marketplaces, and you can find good stuff there sometimes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I saw that. It was I forget the name of the company, but anyway, it's real
I think
nice,
it's, isn't it like junk brands or something like that?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, anyway, where can people find us?
So you can find us on your major social media platforms. We are on Facebook and Instagram at the One Team We Agree On, all one word. We are also on Twitter slash X, whatever you want to call it, at TOTWAG. You can also check out our new website, theoneteamweagreeon.com.
Yeah, so, let's go into, Saturday night, shall we? We'll start off from the top. Most recent thing, Union played Seattle. Well, at least they were going to play
Like about
Seattle,
6 minutes of it.
right? Um, but obviously rain was in the forecast. We knew it was gonna be wet.
Hmm.
Um, when we got to the tailgate, as usual, it was, already coming down, a little chilly, but,
Hmm.
kinda let's talk about tailgate. What was your overall thoughts going on?
Okay, so we had, for it being a rainy, crappy day, the tailgate crowd was not bad.
Not at all. I was actually really excited about it. So,
Yeah, so they had some canopies set outside, and so there were people hanging out there, and it wasn't raining too badly at that point, but it was still raining. And then a lot of people were hanging out inside as well
mhm.
at the tailgate spot there. So we kind of did a little bit of both. But when we got there and before I even got any food, I decided, all right, time to do something I've been planning to do. And if I was going to do it, today was the day. And I'm glad I did because I went and got one of those nice SOB rain jackets that I'd been eyeing for a while. So I have it here and they're really nice. And I had seen lots of people with them and they recommended it. So if you're listening on our podcast, it's kind of that lighter blue. It has SOB across the chest. Okay, and it's hooded and it's nice material. It's lined nicely. And it has the dark blue hood while the lighter blue, everything else. On the sleeve, it has on the one sleeve, it has the logo here for the Sons of Ben with the Ad Finem Fidelis. And then on the other side, which is very appropriate. I mean, come on now. I think everyone needs a decent rain jacket with how much it rains in
Mhm.
these games. We have the we slip and slide as we fall in love on the other sleeve, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And so they were $85 at the team's at the Sons of Ben store. And I know I got one of the last ones. I'm not sure if they're ordering more, but I heard that if they have enough interest, maybe they would. They definitely need a certain amount. So I got that as soon as I got there. I brought a raincoat, but it wasn't a lined one. And I'm glad I got that one because that one kept me pretty warm. And it did eventually soak through when we really were getting drenched, but it held up pretty long.
I
Yeah.
was really impressed by the quality. I thought, the stitching was great. It's a really nice rain jacket. So
I would say it's definitely, like, very water resistant, but then it gets to a point, yeah, it'll get
right.
saturated, and it did eventually, and I could have put my poncho on, but at that point, I'm like, "Whatever," because I was kinda using the poncho I had to keep my stuff dry at that point, so it was whatever.
Yeah, and I think for the price point, it was definitely a great get. I'm glad we got that. I think we can both use that um, from
Mhm.
time to time.
Yeah,
So,
we also have that Live Breathe Football
yeah,
rain jacket too, so you also got that one flag at the
yeah, I
stand
got
as
the
well.
new updated flag that they had at the merch store, striped with the Sons of Ben logo on it. Always like to use them, have them fly out during the year. So I
Mhm,
was really excited because I know they were going to get it, I think, at the end of last year and
mhm.
decided to get it. So, yeah, a couple things. What else do we have?
Well, I mean, if we wanna go over the other stuff I
Yeah,
got a while we're on it. So, at the and I got it
Pachuca.
I got it at the Pachuca game, yeah, so on Tuesday last week, I got a new, cooling headband from the team store at the stadium.
Hmm.
It is it's kind of like looks like paint spots, I guess you could say, splotches on it of different shades of blue and the Union logo on it. So I saw that in the team store. It was in the ladies section, but honestly, anyone could wear it. It doesn't have to be just the ladies. So headband there. So now I have three of these cooling headbands, and they're definitely nice in the summer, but you can get them wet and then they keep you nice and cool, but they're also great dry. So the one that I'm wearing is one I have, and I have a solid navy blue one. So we have that. And then we did not pick this up with the game, but this just arrived today, so this was good timing. So I had seen on Amazon there's a seller that was doing pet tags.
Hmm.
Okay, so for dogs or cats. So I will hold that up so you can see it a little bit better. So it's got the Union logo on it with kind of a soccer ball, and it is we just got one, but I might get one for our other cats. But you get it personalized. I think it was like $14. So there's Oscar. I'm not giving away where we live and my phone number there, but has Oscar on there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think we'll get more. And in case you're interested in that, and we are not sponsored by them or anything, so, but I will it's, from my Go Tags.
Yeah.
Okay, go it's, well, it's I should say,
Go tags.
yeah, it's Go Tags. And it's on Amazon. I'll probably post on Twitter or something the link where you can find it, but yeah, Go Tags. So here's the thing that came with it. So, yeah, that was pretty good, purchase there. And our one cat Oscar, he'll be sporting that soon. I show it you guys Oscar, but he's always really camera shy. He gets freaked out by all of it. So yeah, so that's some of the new stuff, and I we definitely saw some other new stuff in the stadium as well. So we'll share that stuff then as well.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go share some of the pictures from the tailgate here.
Yep.
We'll share the first one here is from when my kids.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
yeah. So there's a lot of people hanging out in the canopies. As you can see, it's raining a bit, a little bit windy, but not too bad at that point. I
no,
think
it
we're getting
wasn't.
kind of used to it at this point. And
And
there.
then here's us inside the little covered area that they have. It's the
Mhm.
old garage.
Yep, and you can see I'm sporting the new rain jacket there, and of course I brought out my pink hat because
Y-
they do have the pink hats available.
and you and Ptolemy were
You
rocking them.
Yeah, Polmy and I decided to wear the pink hats, and so yeah, was wearing that. They have them in the team store though. Get them while they last, 'cause I know they were gone really quickly last year. I got mine in I don't know when it was,
Ours is better
July
though.
or
You know
something.
why?
Mine's signed by Mikelua, so
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And
But
then
yeah,
here's another thing. It was a pretty good crowd in there. People were kind of venturing out in and out. Obviously you get beer, talk to friends, sit
yes.
under the canopy, but a lot of people were also just hanging out there, getting it was a little
Mhm.
warmer in there.
Yeah, and also we're gonna have to talk at some point, not tonight, but how about BR, the tiny SOB?
Yes,
If you haven't
yes.
met BR, the little mascot of Sons of Ben these days, it's a cat that they rescued, that they found. It's a stray cat. So we'll be featuring some things about the cat coming up, and I've posted some things on social media. But you can give the cat a follow at BR the Tiny SOB. It's on Instagram.
And then here's March and I.
Yep, the Marchin. Yep.
All right.
And so in the team store, I noticed that they have the yellow Andre Blake goalkeeper kits. So
Nice. I wish I
yeah,
have the purple ones. I really am a fan of
they
those.
do have the purple ones.
Mm.
I've already shared
So
them
they
with
just
you.
got some more.
So yeah, and they've sold the green ones. I saw the green ones online anyway.
Were they still the purple ones in there? Because when we walked out, I didn't see them. I kind of peeked in there.
They were in there on Tuesday, I think, because I definitely got
All
pictures
right.
of them at some point. But also, I think they've been highly popular.
So that's why I brought it up. Because
Yeah. So, but they have those, and they are not cheap. But I think they're like $169 or something like that. They have the scarves. They just put out this collection of merchandise that commemorates the 15 years.
Mhm.
And so they have the bridge on it with 2024 on there. As you can see on that side, of course, it has 2010 on the other side of it.
I actually really like this one. I like how they incorporated the bridge. I actually thinking about eventually getting this one to add to our collection.
Yeah, that would be a good one to have. They look pretty cool. A lot of the new collection was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So they had some new sweatshirts, and I also positioned it so you can see the price tags if you're interested. So, by the way, if you're a season ticket member and you're buying stuff in the stadium, of course, they usually ask you if you're a season ticket member, but there's a
And this one's nice.
yeah, yeah.
I like the hoodie's nice.
And for those of you just
Uh,
listening, by the way, the what we're showing is there's like a kind of a cream colored sweatshirt, and there's the design on the back, and also there was navy blue shirt that has the bridge on it and the Roman numeral 15 logo on it as well with the snake, and 15 seasons 2010 to 2024. So that's some of the new stuff that was in there. I know there are a few other things, but that was some of the major stuff that I noticed.
yeah, and we had a really good time. We were talking with Jared and his wife. I know Polmy was there. We're talking to a lot of people in there, just sharing some stories, and it was a really fun, laid
Yeah.
back tailgate, just chatting with people. I know our section 136 buddy Drew, who sits next to us, he was there. We were chatting with him a lot. Valerie, just kind of more so about the atmosphere. Like, is this one of the best? I mean, most union moments of, like, the weather and all that, and just having some fun with this.
Yep.
Little do we know what would come.
This is true.
But, anyway, so after that, I left, and we were talking with, Kyle the baby there, and then I headed up with Scott, our buddy Skylar, who's been on the show before, and
Yep. And I marched in, and of course they had everything on the plaza shut down for the night because of
yep.
the weather. So just kind of went in, and a lot of us did go in the team store just because it was warm and dry in there.
So, yeah, I mean, from the press box perspective, we went up, took some pictures. I posted them on my account, and if you go back and see the timeline from when I first posted, it was right after we went. I think when did I go up? Around like 6:15. Compared to when they called the game, it was night and day. That's like
Yeah.
I've seen a couple people like out there saying, especially Red Bull fans saying, "Oh, we played in this," and it's like, okay, that's great. Did you see what we had compared to what was at kickoff? It was night and day. That torrent just came down, and
Yeah. Do people not understand the weather? Like, seriously, in just very short distances, the weather, like the amount of rainfall, and can be drastically different. So, oh my goodness, maybe we got a little bit more rain in a very short span of time in Chester as compared to New Jersey,
yeah,
like
and I
North
think
Jersey.
that's the one thing people I've seen reports that say they got more rain, whatever. The point is, and shout out to our buddy Jose. He reached out to a couple landscaping people, and they
Hmm.
and they I mean landscaping people that work in the field,
Yeah,
um, literally,
right.
um, in turf management. And so, they basically said, like, there's nothing they could have done. And
Mother Nature won.
Mother Nature won, and that's what it is. It's not a I mean, because for me, what really kinda gets me upset about that
Mhm.
is, we were even talking to press box about injuries,
Yeah.
the cold night. I mean, we already know what happened last year with Andre in Chicago
I
on
know,
that
could you
thing.
imagine if we would have kept playing the game if, like, Andre or somebody got hurt?
I mean, and even their coach, Ryan Smith, he brought it up. He said, like, their Seattle was banged up
Mhm.
and there were injuries. I mean, again, it was and I'll talk a little bit more about the press box because it was actually a really fun time, but there was just a lot of things that were going on where you're just sitting there going, is it really smart to be playing a game like this tonight? And at the end of the day, no.
No, and it was crazy how quickly it changed. So, from the time I went in the stadium, which it wasn't that bad, but I started walking around the concourse and I looked through the opening and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, it just had started coming down."
Mhm.
And this was, gosh, like maybe 45 minutes to a half hour or so before the game was supposed to start. It just was starting to pick up. And then, but I saw the players were on the field and I walked around to the river end and a lot of people were not going out there just because it was kind of coming down. But I went out then and saw, okay, it wasn't that bad at that
Mhm.
point. I go up in the stands and then, but between when the game started and when they ended, oh my goodness, the change. It was just within like 15 minutes how quickly it all changed and the field getting so waterlogged. So, I mean, gosh, it was insane. And the wind was really picking up too. And so I know I've shared some videos and pictures from what it was like up in there.
Yeah, and we got a couple more videos to
Hmm.
come up here. For me, when we got up there, it was starting to come down. We went in and Rachel, a Madam President from NASR, was in town. Funny enough, she's a Seattle Sounders fan. She was telling
Hmm.
us, Jose, Todd, Scholar, and I, that she's a Sounders fan, lives in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Which, she's told us why.
Hmm.
But it was really nice to connect with somebody
Hmm.
that's the head of
Yeah.
our organization for
Yeah.
soccer reporters. And it was just really good to hear some of the concerns, but also some of the progress we're making for independent people such as ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's a great time. We got to meet her. Also, one of Todd's friends, Jordan, who I interact
Hmm.
with on social media,
Yeah.
from Stateside Soccer Show. Him and Logan do a show. They do a great job. Always enjoyed listening to them.
Hmm.
Got to interact with him, a big Disney guy. So we were talking
Hmm.
about Disney. I know Todd was too, and he loves Pokemon. So we were
Hmm.
chatting about that, having just a good time. So the mood in the press box was very, kind of everybody was just kind of catching up with everybody else. Uh, when the game started, it was already indicative like this. Okay, this is gonna be a slop show, and the game started, and right away I'm like sitting there. I turned to Todd and I said, "They're really gonna play through this, aren't they?" Because there was a couple times where they were trying to push the ball down, and like the ball would just stop, and it was like, "Oh, wow." And then you were seeing Jake it was just becoming it wasn't even soccer, it was just like, kick the ball down, try
It
to
was a
run it.
farce. It
Now, if you
was really
got it on the
crazy.
edges of the field, you can make a run, like Seattle was doing that early on, and there was a couple plays in the box, we had a couple chances, but at one point, I mean, Bueno just took that dive and, like, all the water just
Yeah.
shot up, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is just gonna be one of those games. And all of a sudden it stopped. And I remember Skylar turning to me and they're like, they're not gonna play in this. And that's really what it was at our press box. Now, I want to hear um your take on everything.
Yeah.
It from us, it was then the next couple minutes was spent like, are they gonna call this game? People are like,
Right.
no, because of schedule congestion, there's no way.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were looking at.
And then it was for us, we were even asking people like with the union, like, "Yo, do you know what's going on?" They didn't know what was going on. So we were all kind of in limbo when
Yeah.
they announced the 30-minute rain delay, which we'll talk about in a second because that's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, so in the river end, I was up in 136 as usual. the sentiment at first there was kind of like, well, everyone was chanting, let them play. And we're like, yeah, we're already here. We're already soaked. Let's just get this done because the schedule congestion, right? And and then of course people around me are like, did Kyle text you anything? Does Kyle know anything? People are asking me like, have you heard anything? I'm like, no, I haven't heard anything. And then eventually, we heard about the delay. So went underneath the river end and I was down there with some people. And of course, if you've ever been to a rain delay, the Sons of Ben and the KSUs especially, they got some chants going down there. We all kind of band together down there and do some chants, and it was a good time. And I posted all kinds of videos of this for
Yeah,
sure,
we
and
got
we'll share
some
some
right
things.
here. So we're gonna share
Yeah.
some right now. Um, let's go on here and
I ended up going across to the other side, like of the tunnel. So, but yes, let's show some footage.
so here is kind of the rain. This was like right as they're about to come off. This is right when they kind of stop the game.
I mean, that's bad. That's looking pretty soaked already. All right, so here is me and my seat neighbors, Jane and Eric. They've been on our pod before.
Yes,
So
I
that's yeah.
I did get to talk to them.
And there's Drew there as well.
And it
So
was
yeah.
good to see Eric and Jane, guys. I'll see you soon next game because I'll be down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good catching up with them. I felt bad because Todd and I were looking for you, and like we couldn't find. We knew you were at KSU, so we are kind of trying to get back up to the press box. So I'll next time I'll definitely catch up with them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then
All right. So this was yeah, so some of the KSUs, they were leading some chants there and everyone, KSUs, SOBs, and just random people all joining in, which was a good time. So that's just a still picture of it. I know I had some videos of it too. They were doing all kinds of chants, like player chants, a lot of the chants that they do, some of the very colorful ones that they do for sure. So did you yeah.
yeah, so that was kind of all we uploaded from this one. A couple other things, yeah, so Todd and I went down, we were chatting with a couple people, walking around, we saw our buddy Doug who sits in front of us, him and I were standing out there in the rain, watching all the squeegee people go around
Oh,
with the
yeah.
squeegee.
I missed some of the squeegeeing because I was underneath by then, but, yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you wanna see more footage of the whole thing, I am on TikTok. I haven't really posted much on there before, although I've started posting some union content.
Mhm.
Before that, it was just like, I would go in there to watch cat videos and whatever else the algorithm was giving me. It's a mishmash for sure, but there's, yeah, if you wanna follow me on TikTok, you can, or I posted the video on Twitter and
Mhm.
Instagram. But yeah, so
So,
you can find me on there. I think I'm just a Jillian Almany on TikTok. I don't really post much there. So Jillian underscore Almany if you want to find me. So
so credit to everybody, the fans. I mean, when we were down there, everybody was making the best of the situation, so to speak. And I has had fun time just catching up and chatting with people. We went back up, and by the time we got back up, we got the announcement that the game was going to be postponed.
yep.
So we just kind of hung out and kind of just chatted a little bit more with Rachel and kind of said our goodbye. So again, Rachel's a great meeting you if you're listening.
Yeah, and then we left.
And then we left, and then our fun really
Yeah.
began.
So here we are. So we're thinking, okay, because we had a swim meet to coach at all weekend. We had been
Right.
there Friday all I had been there Friday all day, but we were coaching Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And we were off for the evening for Saturday to go to the game. But we had to be up really early on Sunday, like 5:30 a.m. So we were already thinking, okay, it's gonna be a little brutal after the game, going home and then getting up early, but whatever. So we're thinking, okay, well, we're gonna at least get home earlier and get to bed earlier. Boy, were we wrong. Okay. So we leave lot G and we get to cut right across, past the Sons of Ben lot. Like they had that opened up and we got straight across onto that little like that exit that they from the parking lot right onto the ramp to 322. So we're like, all right, we're making good time. This is good. We're gonna get home. Well, we didn't get too far by the time we got off 95 onto 322 and heading towards the Westchester area and that bridge that goes over like train tracks. On there, we hit because it was dark and rainy, we hit a massive pothole. I mean, I think felt my soul leave my body momentarily when we hit that thing
Mhm.
because it was on my side. And we were barely getting down towards over that bridge when we sure enough felt, uh-oh, that telltale feeling of we have a flat. So we get down a little bit. We pull up to the little car dealership that's on there, um, a little further down the road there, and pull off in there. And there's someone else stopped in there. And we get out and check. Sure enough, front passenger side tire is flat. And these look like some young guys there. They pulled over. They're like, that just happened to us too. Like you hit that pothole. And we're like, yeah. So and we heard from people on, some fellow fans that there was, Ruby's joining us here,
Yes.
that there was, like, at least 3 other cars at the Wawa down there at that, intersection, the awful one, that, Ruby says hi, by the way. She doesn't really wanna be on camera. Anyway, so that it happened to, like, at least 3 other cars
Yeah,
that they'd hit this pothole. It was horrible. I mean, I know that area of road is not great to begin with, but this was bad,
that was bad,
like,
and
real bad.
we bumped into, like, that side before, no, it just I think so. It's just one of those things. It was dark, and we're just
Yeah.
driving, the road needs to be
Yeah.
fixed, and
Yeah, it was horrible, so be careful because you know how these things go.
yeah,
They probably
so
won't
if
repair
you're
it.
if you're going that way on
It was in the
322,
right lane.
yeah,
It
that's
was
what I
in
was
the
gonna
right
say,
lane.
so
You know what? I was thinking, like, if it were me driving, I probably wouldn't have been in the right lane because I would've been passing people, and I probably wouldn't have hit it, but yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so
Are you
yeah.
questioning my driving skills?
Oh,
Yeah.
if we need to get somewhere more quickly,
Yeah,
that I'm the one
I am
driving.
a slow driver.
So, I'm not saying I, like, am unsafe and stuff, I just,
No, you're not.
you know. Anyway, so now I've changed many tires before. I know how to change a tire, okay?
Same here.
Kyle knows how to change a tire. And so we get out and we're like, ah, crap. But okay, let's see if we can, get this. Of course, it's raining still at this point. I'm already soaked and freezing. Okay. I felt like I was practically getting hypothermia. Okay. Just ask Kyle. I was like shaking. And so we try to, get the lug nuts off and all
We've
that,
tried
loosen.
multiple
We
times.
could not.
No, and it was funny because I got my tire update. We got the tire fixed today. Um, I said to him, I said I couldn't get them off, and here, lo and behold, the tool that we
Yeah.
have that we use, because he said, "Let me see your lug number," and she goes, "Yeah, that's the problem with these miles, that tool." So he gave me a like universal
A good
one
one. Yeah.
to get, and so we ordered it, and I'm gonna get that when it gets into their
Good.
shop. So
Yeah. Cause like when
it
my,
wasn't a good one. I've had other ones where I could
oh,
just, crank,
oh my
crank,
gosh.
crank, and, like, even
Yeah.
just, like, I was, like, putting all my weight on it, and
Yeah. It
the
was bad.
problem was it just
Well,
it
it kind of, like, unfolded and stuff, and it was weird, but, like, when I had a flat on my Jetta last year, it was like, I was barely out of my driveway, I pulled back in and my driveway and changed the flat, like, I'm in my school clothes and everything, and I just got out there, got it off, put the new tire on, like, within, like, 10 minutes, I was good to go. Easy peasy, you know?
and that was gonna be the game plan. We were gonna be on
Yeah,
spare and just get
yeah,
home.
but nope, it could not be easy, could it, Kyle?
No, because then we called,
We called AAA,
and at first they were like, "It'll be,
like,
70
70
minutes,"
minutes.
and we're like, "Okay, fine, we'll get it changed," because my first thought was, "I'll keep working on it," which we tried to. Again, we
Yeah.
couldn't get anywhere. Fi
Meanwhile, the other car there, the kids there, they got towed and everything.
Yeah, it was weird, like, if people were getting towed and we were just sitting there, and then
Yeah.
so 70 minutes passed, I call again, "Oh, yeah, we couldn't find the person, that was supposed to come assist you." I was like, "Okay,
They're like, "We'll keep trying," and
we'll keep trying. I'm gonna tell them right." I remember the guy's voice, like, "They'll be to you here within the hour."
yeah.
Okay, so an hour passes, and we call again, and this time, this guy was like, "We only have 1 person in
For
the
all of Delco.
yeah, that is available right now, and they're swamped. We could get to you." And I'm like, I called at 9 o'clock. I've
It wa
already,
we had started this process, like, by about, like, 9:45, I think.
if that.
If
And he
yeah.
was like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. Are you in a safe place?" I'm like, I'm in a kind of pulled off the side of the road in a used car lot we're cold. We just want to get home. I understand we have one person. Luckily, we had enough to kind of worst case scenario. We were
We turned the
sick,
car on and,
and then we
would
turn
keep
it
warm.
off. But
And I was definitely yeah, detailing this with our friends on social media,
oh
like, the
yeah.
whole time, and
So finally, he's like, "Well, it'll probably be about 3 hours." So now I'm
it had
already.
already been, like, 3 hours, by
Yeah,
the
and
way, at
that's
this
what I
point.
kinda said to the guy, and then he's like, "Well, I could schedule you for morning, like, around 7," and I'm like, "So I'm gonna stay in my car all night?" And
Like,
he's
what
like,
the heck?
"Unfortunately, we have that," and I'm like,
Why are we paying this money
"Yeah,
for AAA at this point? So I went on my State Farm app. Okay. So they're our insurance provider and they have roadside assistance, although it's not covered on our plan. So that's why we were trying to go AAA because we pay for that already.
yeah."
So and we kept getting strung along. So we're like, okay, fine. Let's see if I can get anything with this. Now it's going to cost us like 90 bucks up front, whatever. But, I go on there and it showed me the status of what was happening, and I think it took no more than 30 minutes for
Guy
someone to
came
come.
out,
Yep,
changed their tire, we went right up to that Wawa there, filled the tire up because it was a little flat,
yep.
put some gas in the car, and we drove
Drove
home.
slowly home because it's one of those not full size ones, kind of a donut one, that we couldn't go over like 50 miles an hour on it, and we had an hour and a half of a drive to go because we
Yeah,
hadn't gotten too far, so it took a little longer, but thankfully the rain had stopped.
yeah.
A while before that, we got home, and of course, as we're driving home somewhere on Route 1, it's like 1:59 and then straight to 3 o'clock AM because of the time change. Great timing of that. So long story short, I get home, I go like straight to bed. I'm in bed at 4:30 a.m. I had to then get up, and so did he, at 5:30 a.m. And he tells me he got 40 minutes of sleep. You got even less than I did, but I was like right to sleep. And then up at it was like a power nap basically. And we got up 5:30, went to our swim meet and coached till about 1:30 p.m. Came home and slept. And by the way, if you want to see well, our friend Mike Barrera was like, "Oh, you guys should do you know, a live from the car
Oh, we did.
video for the one team we agree on." And so we did. If you want to hear us sounding really defeated and tired and cold and miserable and
I
whatnot,
wouldn't say,
I
miserable.
was
We were
miserable.
I was just
Just
trying
listen
to
to my
fi
voice.
yeah, I mean, we were tired
Was
and we were
tired.
cold.
I looked like utter garbage. I was just so exhausted and drained. And anyway, you can see that on I did a reel on Instagram and I posted on Twitter too, I think. But yeah, that was interesting.
I mean, it's gonna be a story for all time. I mean, that's the
It
way
was
I
definitely
look
a
at it.
story.
We were made it home safe and sound.
Yep.
There wasn't more damage to the car because sometimes the piles, you get alignment, they said everything was fine.
Thank
So,
goodness.
everybody there checking out, making sure we're okay, we really appreciate that from the bottom
Yes.
of our
And
heart,
thank you to
and
everyone who was just like interacting with me on Twitter and everything during that time and checking us because it was also helping pass the time because we were there forever.
it was. So, anyway, that was our wild Saturday night. So, let's kinda shift now to,
Back it up.
back it up to Tuesday, first leg of CONCACAF, in round 16 when Pachuca came to town.
Yes.
We were there,
We had an unofficial tailgate
we had an
at some
official
event.
tailgate. First interaction, I thought there'd be more Pachuca fans
We
there.
did too. I was shocked that there weren't more Pachuca fans. Like
I get it's a Tuesday night and all that,
maybe
but still, like, I mean,
and they did have less notice that they would be going see Saprissa, who had tons of fans.
true.
That we knew about that game happening for quite a while.
And
So I think that's probably part of
I'm
it.
sure those things, but I mean, I'm still surprised Pachuca didn't have more fans.
Well, when they had the friendly against us in 2022, they had tons of fans
Yeah,
there.
and I think that's why
It
we
was
all
also summer, but yeah.
and I think that's why we all assumed that. But yeah, well, I mean, I thought right from the start, obviously, that they had their whole lineup. We had our uh outside Julian wasn't there.
But Andre Blake was back, which was huge.
Yeah, and I mean, it was an interesting lineup. I mean, Harriel was playing center back.
Right, because
Uh
remember everybody, we couldn't have Damian Lowe or Jack Elliott in that game.
no, but at the same time, here's my three takeaways. Bizo got cooked.
Oh boy, did he get cooked.
Driussi just destroyed him the entire game, and then, what was the other guy? Jose was telling me his name, but they brought in this other kid that came up, through, I guess, their academy, and he was
Mhm.
playing real good, but it was that whole side, their left side was just, coming after Biso, and then, I mean, say what you want of, our attack. Ua missed one where he should have chipped right there at the beginning. That would have been huge.
Mhm.
Second time he should have passed it off. I think he would have had a better opportunity there. And then
Yeah.
that nice ball into Gazdag just, runs up on him a little bit, but you gotta finish that better. I mean, those are three chances. I mean, again, it was the story. We were creating chances when we had them. We just weren't putting the ball in the back of net, and their goalkeeper was very quick and good and was recognizing. But, again, we just didn't I kept saying the whole night, like, "Man, we're just not putting those
I
opportunities when we
know.
had them."
And we also had just, a bit of luck too that, when VAR actually ruled in our favor for once.
Yeah.
And when it looked like it was going to be a PK against us, nope.
No, I mean, that was because of the handball in
There's a
the
previous
buildup
handball in the
in the
buildup,
buildup.
yes.
But um, I thought Harriel, Martinez, they played outstanding.
Yeah.
I thought the kids were all good. It just it was a game where you're like, you needed to score and get some pressure
Yes.
because with going down to Mexico, as we all know, is not easy.
Mhm.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But at the same time, we kept a clean sheet.
Which was
That's
huge.
that was good. Um, and I just felt that at the end of the night, uh, that I thought the fans that were in attendance did a very good job and the chance for fun. But at the same time, it's like, come on, people, we should really be getting more people out to that game. I mean, I get it's a Tuesday night, it's a school night,
But
but
it was a 7 o'clock game. It wasn't super late.
that's the one thing. It's like, how does the union market these games, these Leagues Cup, CCC better to the casual fan?
Mhm.
Because, we'll see the billboard and all that, but it's like you're playing Pachuca, who is one of the
This is a
better.
good competitor.
It's one of the, they've won Liga MX. They
Yeah.
have, consistently been a top 5, 6, CONCACAF
Mhm.
rated team. How do you get that to say this is like a team that's one of the best in this federation
Right.
to the game? And I think that's the next step for not only the union, but I feel like MLS. Now, some clubs are selling out, but
Yeah.
I think that's something interesting that I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the game, asked Jose a little bit about, asked Jim about the match performance by Jose, and he had some good comments to say. So we're going to share them right now. So here's what Jim had to say about Jose Martinez.
Yeah, Jose had a tough task. To sit in the middle of that block of three midfielders is not easy. You have Rondon, who is such a talented striker, still coming back too, so he was helping out with that as well. And they're just the fluidity of their attack, all the moving parts. Jose had a really strong performance for it. I think he's up for it a little bit more because his fellow countryman and legend of Venezuela is leading their line. I think there's something to that. That's real. But Jose stepped up in a really big game and played excellent in the middle of the field tonight, I thought. Yeah, Jose had a
So, yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick. And so, like Jim said, Rondon, he is one of the legends in Venezuela.
Mhm.
So, two Venezuelans going after it, Jose gets up for these games. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
he
does.
does. He was excellent on the night. Thought Harrell was
Well,
excellent.
and Jose was the man of the match too.
Right. I
Yeah.
could still say you make an argument for
I mean,
Harry.
he was actually named man of the match.
I know,
Yeah.
but you can make an argument for Nate too.
Oh, Nate did great. And stepping into that center back role, I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah. So, overall thoughts of the game?
I mean, I thought it was great that we kept a clean sheet. Yes, we missed on some chances to at least get a home goal. Now, I mean, it's not the worst thing. We're going into Pachuca with a clean sheet. Again, we can win this tying 1-1 at Pachuca because we'd win on an away goal. Away goal over the home goal.
So yeah, we're gonna start transitioning to that real quick because I want to
Yeah.
touch on a few things from Jim's presser
Yeah.
today. First though, what I found, I did do one other thing. So we went in after the presser, talking to some players, got to talk to Quinn a little bit, um, just about like what he's doing to, I basically asked him how he, because Jim has brought up several times about his final touches. How
Yeah.
has he worked on? What's his kind of advice been to Quinn? And Quinn kind of just gave a basic answer that this is something every day he's working on, watching film. But it was very nice, generous, and I will say I agree with a couple other people up there. Of the homegrowns, I thought Quinn has most improved so far on the season on his interviewing skills. However, I did get a chance to interview Jack McGlynn. He was just kind of standing there, and I had wanted to ask him about what's competition mean for him, kind of the Olympics. So I do apologize for the audio quality on this, but I was with my friend.
How are you? Good. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good. What would you say these international competitions are doing for your growth overall as a player, as you're developing your game?
Yeah, I think it's just a great experience to play against different styles of teams, different opponents that you're not used to in the MLS. They're a quality team that won their league last year for a reason. So I think as a young guy, it's definitely a great experience playing big games like that.
And how you feel like this prepares you, as obviously your goal probably is making the Olympics coming up. How do you think this prepared you these kind of competitions?
Yeah, I think the speed of play is higher, the intensity, playing against older guys, which will happen in the Olympics. So I think that's kind of all the things you need to look forward to and kind of be prepared for going into that.
Excellent. And last question, what do you think from last year, this year, where's the biggest improvements you made in your game personally? You feel?
I would say the physical side, I kind of worked on that all off season, like defending, being quicker with the ball, being stronger. I think I put on like 10 pounds of muscle over the off season, so that's kind of where I've been improving.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
So that was Jack, and just a couple things that stood out to me there.
Yeah.
So I asked him about, or during the off season, he said he has really worked on becoming more physical, and you can see that just standing next to him last year, this year, he's definitely become stronger, and you can see that now a little bit. Has his defense has improved, I thought, early on in the season. It's still not ever going to be like a Leon Flock level, or maybe, but it's serviceable, and I think that's why Jim is now starting to trust him more. Second thing he talked about, I asked him about the competition and how that would prepare him for the Olympics, and he said, the competition's a lot faster. And he feels that is going to prepare him for more and more international competitions with the United States national team. So it's just some really good stuff. He was smiling the whole time. Was very, very cordial. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really great time to opportunity to interview him.
Yeah, he's been doing great, and it's been really neat to see him and the other homegrowns coming up through. I mean, for me, one of my favorite moments ever was when he took the PK.
Yeah.
That was back against Nashville.
Yeah,
the
that
playoffs in 2021, and
injecting into your veins.
yes, but man, what a big spot for, what was he, 17 at the time? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So
wow.
no, so again, I think it was Paul Trino said, I think Union fans, this might be the last year we see Jack. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's very possible he gets sold at some point, or at least loaned out. But I'd probably imagine more getting sold.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the kids are doing great. As the billboard in that I saw was in
Yeah,
Philly, the kids are all right. Yeah,
they
I'll
are
say.
all right.
And
So,
the interesting thing is, of course, Pachuca is very much like us actually, and they
mhm,
really are developing their academy kids. They're kind of like they got their like kind of stars, but they've got like the academy kids in there too. So
yeah,
it's
both.
interesting matchup.
It is an interesting matchup, and let's talk on that.
Yeah.
So, it's just a couple things. Tomorrow night's a big night.
Yep.
Uh, Jim has presser. You were on along with me. I didn't get to ask questions, but regardless, what did you think? Jim talked a lot about Atlas, how they can go to Mexico, they can win,
Mm-hmm.
or at least get, a favorable results because of the home goal. I mean, what was it, 2-2
Yeah.
last year against Atlas? So again, all you need to do is get an away goal and
And
it's game on.
yeah, I mean that would be huge. They, as Jim said, they must score.
Yeah.
Okay. And please, 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 I do not want to go to PKs. I really don't because that's just so stressful. We've had enough of that. But my heart, that's not good for my heart. No. I really would love to see us, put a few on. We've shown we can score goals in hostile environment. Think about the crowd that was at Saprissa.
Right.
So that was good. And Julian Carranza, of course, had his hat trick and thrived. So could we get a big game from Julian, who Jim said is available for selection on Tuesday?
And
So
that's huge. And
that
that's huge
is,
because he thrives in this environment. He's said that enough. Growing
he's
up.
like, yeah, growing up in Argentina, and he likes the big crowds. He's used to this kind of stuff. And so we definitely missed him when he was out. I think that will be huge. Plus, you've got some guys that have just been just doing fantastic. I mean, honestly, Quinn's been fantastic. I think Gazdag and Ua are due for some big moments.
We'll see.
Also, I know Marcus Anderson, he started that Seattle game that didn't finish.
Right.
And I've been seeing some good stuff from him. We'll see what kind of role he plays, if any. And I really like how he is very aggressive. I mean,
He is.
he is.
He's
So
raw. He's got some skill,
yeah,
but
it's exciting. So
it'll be fun
we'll
to see
see.
him develop.
Yeah, and we should have Damien back for this, and Damien's been so good in these international competitions. So
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I just want to see the Union score first. I think they will benefit uh from the not layover, but the
yeah, having that assure us that they didn't play a full game on Saturday.
yeah, and Jim talked about that a little bit and wanted to
Yeah, look, the Seattle game getting canceled is something we can't control. It was unique. In some ways, it helps us physically to recover because it's a difficult task to play on a Saturday and then come down here on Tuesday and play at altitude. So we get a little bit of a break there. Again, that game will get moved probably later in the year, and hopefully it's at a advantageous time to us.
So I just wanted to play that little bit right there of it. And Nate was in there too. But really what he was saying there is, what we were kind of talking about. Like it does give a little bit of a boost to this team. Now, obviously, Pachuca's already come out and said pretty much their lineup's gonna be the same, and they rest pretty
They
much
rested like
ready
everybody.
for their 2-1 loss to who'd they play? Querétaro? Yeah, they played Querétaro. They lost 2-1. So it'll be an interesting matchup. You were on. What'd you think of the interviews?
Okay, so as this was taking place in Mexico and there are Spanish speaking media there, the whole thing was a little awkward just because there was so much time in between because there were people asking questions in Spanish and then things being translated. And and I don't speak any Spanish really. I can speak a lot of German, but not Spanish. So this was not helpful. And there was a lot of time though in between when a question would be asked and then when finally Jim would be able to hear the question in English and then respond, and same with Nate. And then this would all be relayed back, translated, into Spanish, and it was just kind of awkward at times.
It was. It was, even for me, having been on some in the past, this one was just kind of a lot more, seemed very disorganized.
And there was a lot of the media, I guess the ones that must have been there in person, of course, were allowed to go first. And it was, the Spanish speaking media there. And so that took up a while. And then when we finally got to questions from Zoom, they had a couple of our local beat writers on there asking questions. They only got to like two.
Yeah,
So
but
Hal had some great questions. I know our friend Jose had some great questions. So we had,
it's
yeah, but we
it
didn't get
is what
to,
it is. It
I
is
mean,
what
we
it
get it,
is.
but I just wish we definitely could have had a little bit more of our questions.
No, but there was a question that you have thoughts about. One of the questions asked Jim was about Messi in the league. So
Can you guys all see me rolling my eyes? If you're just listening, yeah, it's
so it's kind of interesting.
As far as Messi goes, obviously, when you can bring the best player in the history of the sport to the league, I think it's positive. It's a good thing. It makes it very difficult to play against Miami for sure, but it's been very good in terms of marketing, in terms of his performances on the field, and yeah, it's been a really good thing for the growth of MLS.
Nate's face during that too. He's just like,
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
Jim, what's Jim gonna say?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, oh yeah, it's good for marketing and all that. But okay. Yeah, I have thoughts. Okay, I get they're asking about Messi and because they're, I
Yeah.
guess, from Mexico and whatnot, but I know a lot of us are just like so over it. But Messi has nothing to do with this competition. There are so many people
Well,
wanting to ask quality questions, and they're asking about freaking Messi. You know what? I know Jim is not like this, but if it was John Tortorella in this, Torts would be all like, that's a dumb question. Next.
he probably would be, and then he'd probably get fined by CONCACAF, and then it would be no. Look, I get why Messi's the name. He's a great player, all that.
Yeah.
But it's just it gets to the point. It's like, can we not just ask the Messi questions for a little bit? I mean, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about this competition coming up tomorrow night.
There's so much more to talk about. Why the heck do we need to talk about Messi right
But
now?
this isn't going to go away, so we all just need to understand it eventually. And again, it's going to put eyes on the league, put eyes on competitions.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just funny when we always laugh
It's
when
just
we
like eye roll.
So anyway, yeah, tomorrow, big game. We'll see what the Union do. If they advance or not. I mean, again, like I said, they gotta score, you get out, you turn the lead, it's gonna be huge. And then we'll go from there. But you got Austin coming up this weekend, first league meeting between these two outside preseason. And then also Snuggs Oscar,
This is Oscar. He's gonna get that new
our
tag on him
captain
soon.
here, saying hi. So
Yes.
yeah, how you feeling about the game? Nah, no comment. Anyway, so
He
that's
wants victory crunchies. If you know, you know.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. Excited. We'll be on covering the game, and we'll be talking about it after for sure. But before we get out of here, thank you again, guys, for listening. Just an update. I said last episode talk about St. Baldrick's. Currently, I've raised, thanks to everybody who's donated, $317.20 towards my goal of $1,000. So I'll put the links in the description again. Again, thank you so much to everybody that has donated. And again, this goes towards research towards childhood cancer, and I'll be shaving my head at upcoming tailgate.
Yes, and any amounts are appreciated. Anything.
Absolutely.
So thank you to everyone who has contributed, and if you're able to do so, we so appreciate it. Now, just because the Union are not back home until March 30th does not mean you can't go to Chester. Okay. The Union 2 kick off their season on Sunday versus Toronto FC 2. Okay, Sunday, the 17th of March, St. Patty's Day. You know, it's going to be a good time. Okay. So both games are okay. So, and then against New England 2 the following Sunday, by the way, both games are at 3 p.m. At Subaru Park. So come out and check them out and hang out with the newly formed Bridge Brigade. the supporter group for Union 2.
Hey, we'll definitely be down there for that.
Yeah,
So
I'm definitely going to be there. Both of us will be there on Sunday, on St. Patty's Day. And as far as the one against New England too, that's up in the air a little bit. I have my state meet.
if I don't go states, I might head down there and hang out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I at the very least for sure will be at the alma mater of Jack Elliott,
Yeah.
West Virginia University, and Kevin Kincaid, shout out. So yes, yes, the Pennsylvania YMCA state meet is in West Virginia. Make it make sense. But anyway, so yeah, definitely come join us if you are interested. It should be a good time. And another thing that might be fun is if you're in the York, Lancaster, Harrisburg kind of area, and want to catch these the away games or the home games, any of the games that are for the Union, come out to Beer Hall Brewery and it's on New Holland Pike, Route 23, kind of in the Village of Eden. So it's the old jukebox
Yep.
is what it is. So that is where they're going to be actually showing a lot of Union games with sound and everything. So we finally have someplace in the 717 that is showing Union games.
No, it's great, and we've heard like from our buddy Conrad and a couple other people that were there. It was a great time, great atmosphere. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
definitely gonna go check out the Austin game there.
yep, so we'll be there I think, this Saturday night, and we'll probably we'll see how that goes, and we'll probably go to some more there as well.
Absolutely.
So
So
it's always more fun with friends.
absolutely. So if you're local, go consider checking that out. And so that's all for this episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. We love hearing from you. And if you have any ideas on future episodes or guests, please send them our way. And if you haven't checked out our latest guest, we had Neil Pierre on from the Union 2. So that was a really fun interview. So check that out if you haven't yet.
And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you at the game.